Define revolutionary. Actually, I would like you to find a synonym for it. There are multiple answers to this question, but I'm only looking for one. And that answer is empathy. You see, my statement saying that empathy is revolutionary isn't just an opinion, it's also a fact. I believe we should think empathy is not only an act of character, but it's also an act of power, an act of heroism, and an act of courage. But I see many faces in the audience with a blank stare. You must be wondering why I'm so passionate about this topic, and I'll tell you why. This is because empathy does so much for this world, and no one notices. Just look at the world, and look at the media, and you will see empathy in its works. When you see people advocating for the oppressed in developing countries, some of them live here or in some other developed country. Many years ago, when you saw peace activists fighting for African American rights, some of them were white. Today, when you see people fighting for gay rights, some of them are straight. Can't you see what empathy has done? It has evolved our world into something better. But something's not right. Something is missing, and that something is women. For the longest time, women and men have never been equals. Paying attention to the world, you can see how unequal women are treated, but it's not till now that I've started to understand the idea itself. Overall, women are treated on a lower level than men. But to find a solution, we first need to find the problem. First, I'd like to look at women in developed countries, because it's a sure fact that people are treated and treat each other in developing and developed countries. Now let's look at one of the prime examples, work. In the workplace, women on average are usually paid 80% of what their male counterparts make. Companies and unions state that this is because women have the possibility of becoming pregnant, so they'll have to have a leave of absence. But when they do the same work the same hours, why is there no equality? And not only this, certain stigmas and stereotypes provide obstacles for women as well, such as the belief that women will never be able to do as good as a job as men, or they won't be committed to their jobs. Transitioning out of the workplace, why don't we take a look into sports? We can all tell that women's sports are not as big as men's. I'd say there's one big reason for this though. They do not get advertised. For the exception of, let's say, tennis, professional leagues for women don't get a large audience. You never see commercials for the WNBA, you never hear who won the playoffs, and you never hear who was the best player. This is because they're truly treated unequally. And not only this, in some cases, women are just denied basic privileges for sports. For example, in the upcoming Women's FIFA World Cup, hosted in Canada, women have been denied the right to play on fields with real grass, and instead have to play on fields with fake grass. Some of you may think that this is not a big deal, but it truly is. Not only does it provide players with unique playing fields and it changes the game, it also provides them with unique injury risks and devalues their dignity. Think of it like this. You and your friend are given shoes to run with. Your friend gets some brand new pair of Nikes, Adidas, you name it, and you get some worn out piece of junk. Not only is this unfair and a little unsanitary, may I add, this is just like what the women of soccer are facing, inequality. But not only do the women of the developed countries get mistreated, they do not compare to how unequal the women of the developing countries are. And for you to truly understand, I will tell you a little story. This story is about a woman's life in Pakistan. Salma, age 39, married, and mother of 2. This statement's a little misleading though. This is because every day of Salma's life is filled with fear. She works in a home where she is respected and she's filled with joy. However, when it comes time to return to her home, this was where her happiness ends. This is because of her husband, Farouk. Every day with Farouk is filled with fear. Not only has she to do with daily chores such as ironing his clothes and making his food, she also has to deal with Farouk's physical and emotional abuse. On many occasions, Salma has stated Farouk has mercilessly beaten her until the point where she has had multiple broken arms, multiple black eyes, and even 3 miscarriages. And this isn't just the tip of the iceberg. Farouk is able to get away with all this fear and abuse he has given Salma. Who is she supposed to tell? Who cares? Who will do anything? No one. And not only does she deal with Farouk's physical abuse, She also has to deal with Farouk embezzling her for drugs and alcohol. And this is not the end of the story. Salma also has to deal with the shame brought upon in her life. Along with abuse and financial strain, she has to deal with the emotional strain Farouk puts on her. On countless times, Farouk has accused Salma falsely of cheating on him with another man and threatened to divorce her. End point. Being a divorced woman in Pakistan is considered a very shameful act. These actions led to the eventual divorce of Salma and Farouk. However, Farouk did not leave her life. He kept her children and all of her belongings. Whenever they're still together, Farouk tries to engage in sexual actions. Throughout all the mess in her life, Salma just wants to start a new one. She wants to give her children a life she never had, but she doesn't have the opportunity to escape Farouk and leave. She's stuck in a place with disrespect and inequality. Salma is not the only woman who faces these challenges every day. Millions upon millions of girls are both disrespected and treated with inequality. Female children around the world are denied the right to education. In some places, women are forced to do everything with men, such as go outside, travel, or even drive a car. And every day, millions of girls and women are beaten, raped, and abused, and etc. All over the world, women face obstacles like this. Not to say that men don't either, but when you compare, women are a lot more mistreated than men. This problem does not go untreated, though. There are many initiatives to stop this. However, most of them don't have a large effect. I believe there is one solution, though. Feminism. The advocacy of women's rights on the social, political, and economic grounds, equality to men. You hear feminism around the world like you hear Microsoft. It's there, but only when it does something big, people start talking about it. When people hear the word feminism, they usually associate it with bad, though. Most of the time, it's all negative talk. I hear the words that tear feminism down, like feminazi, angry woman, man-hater, etc. I call myself a happy male feminist, but that doesn't matter right now. What matters is that I believe we should be doing the opposite. Feminism has been one of the leading ways to bring equality between men and women, and feminism has sparked a revolution. Today, many people are becoming a feminist. For example, Emma Watson, aka the actress who played Hermione Granger, performed a speech at the United Nations conference advocating for gender equality. Beyoncé has performed many songs and performances under the topic of feminism, including her performance at the VMAs where she put the word feminist in blazing glory. And lastly, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie has given a new light to the word feminist. As the world evolves, we can see more and more women coming together, but there's something wrong with what I just said. I only said women, not women and men. So there you go, we found our problem, and here's the solution. My solution is that men should start to become feminists. Why should men become feminists, you ask? Because it's one of the ways we can finally put a stop to gender inequality. As feminism is starting to breathe a new life and finish its battle with inequality, there just aren't enough people. We need more people who care. We need more people who are passionate. And we need more people who actually care about equality. And to do this, we need to turn away from the stereotypes. We need to turn away from the hate, and what we need to turn to is feminism itself. You see, if men were to become feminists, it would make a big change in the world. When men start becoming feminists, the world sees a change. The world sees collaboration between men and women, and the world sees a turn. When more people turn the other way, inequality will start to die down. You see, feminism has already done a lot of things by itself. First, feminism was part of the civil rights movement in the United States. Feminism also brought women from being expected to be the housewife to being respected in the workplace. Along different lines, feminism made gender discrimination a serious topic with Title IX. Title IX is a law which makes every program which is federally funded in colleges and universities to have equity between boys and girls. Also, feminism brought sexual harassment to light. Before the 90s and in the 90s, sexual harassment wasn't as big as an issue as it is today. However, when more feminists came into court bringing their cases in, it showed the world you shouldn't be ashamed. Moreover, feminism helped women get into politics. As more feminists got into the government, it shone a brighter light on women's issue, which in turn helped feminism itself. And perhaps the best achievement of feminism to date is getting the right for women to vote. The suffragist movement in the early 1900s eventually gave the right for women to vote and gave them the chance to run for political candidates. And to think that all these accomplishments were only done by half of the world's population. What if 70 or 80% of the world was getting into stuff like this? Our world would be completely different. And if you don't believe me, just look at history. When the civil rights movements occurred in the 60s, it wasn't just minorities fighting for equity. White people joined the fight wanting to help as well. And look what happened. The result was discrimination based on race, religion, and gender was banned. In present times, people who advocate for same-sex marriage aren't all homosexual. And look where we are. Not only does our whole country as a whole have legalized gay marriage, our neighbor, the United States, is quickly evolving state by state legalizing gay marriage. These examples show that when more and more people come together to solve a problem, it can be accomplished. But even though I told you why you should become a feminist, I haven't told you how. Warning, it's not easy as 1, 2, 3, but it's not as difficult as learning how to pay your taxes. The most important step to do is to self-identify as a feminist. I know this may seem easy, but it does have some baggage. People may treat you differently, think you're radical, or they might not even like you. But if you're truly passionate about this, you won't let anything stop you. Step 2, fight back against sexism. When you see discrimination happening, speak up, try to stop it, make a difference. Step 3, educate yourself about feminism. If you want to be passionate about a topic and spread the word, you kind of have to know what you're talking about. Step 4, try and encourage other people and men to become feminists. For example, this whole TED Talk. And lastly, take action. Do what needs to be done to stop gender inequality. Advocate, spread the word. Don't be afraid to take initiative. Because when we strive for a better today, we will have a better tomorrow. Thank you.